Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Woo. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers! Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Living loud, think it proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
What is going on, everybody? We're back on another live, another stream. You know where you're at. You're at Sparta SQ Network. I'm your host, the Sparta, aka Peter. So tonight we are talking about Wolverine, the history, the character, the foundation, everything. Nothing is going to be untraced. But before we go, let's do some housekeeping really fast. We have a new person in the chat. This sounds interesting. It will be an interesting conversation, mate. I cannot deny that. It's going to be a very good, interesting conversation. And Eric's in the building as always. And he says also, you were the MIA last night. No, we changed the show. Remember, it's on Monday's night. So good to see you. Have a good night. We moved the restaurant show from Fridays into Mondays, so keep that night. So Monday, Friday nights we're off now. And Greg also saying, please hit the like, share, subscribe, of course. So let's get him in here. Actually,
Too tired. Too tired and hot.
Greg, what's going on, my man?
Hot, bothered, sweaty as hell.
Well, what do you think about the new hat?
Yeah. You're right.
All right, my man. The biggest question tonight is, what do you know about Wolverine? Let's start with that.
Claws, metal, unlimited healing factors, smell, hearing in sight.
Country boy, also. Don't forget about that. Cigar smoking, Veridin,
If you
Death
go by anything by the movies, he's like over 200 years old, and he was
Correct.
born into a rich family.
Correct.
And his father wasn't really his father; it was by another bloke.
Correct. So Wolverine was first appeared in 1974 in the Incredible Hulk issue 180 with 181. It was two-parter,
Yeah,
created by Lee Wesley and John Romus Jr.
mm.
Senior, excuse me, and Herbert Timpson. Originally, he created a thought of a canon uh, government agent, and that's true. He was originally from government, excuse me, Canada, set to battle the Incredible Hulk. Wolverine quickly stro- uh, stroked out because of his anger, fighting style, mythically past, and razor sharp claws. At
Yeah,
first, Marvel had no idea he would become one of the biggest stars, and that is all facts, guys.
yeah,
When Wolverine came out, no one knew he was going to be this big character, this big anything. He was going to be just a villain, simple as that. But people praised him, and
yeah.
that's what it came down to it. So what do you have on that so far?
Pardon?
Pay, pay attention. Stop watching your porn, corn, and let's pay attention here.
Well, it was pretty great in this time. Still is now. What more can you say about that?
And Eric has a comment for you, so I'd like you to take this one over. So, so Wolverine is an interesting story to me because he he became a character that people love. People became very fascinated with him, including myself. As
Yeah,
grown up, X Men were the hype at the time, you know,
yeah,
because the 90s, 80s, and 90s cartoon was the introduction to what's the word? X Men for us,
yes.
and a lot of people did not know that. So I
Hmm.
need to fix that really fast. There we go. So as the comic book evolved, most people who did not know Wolverine had a second chance to become fans of him. And what
Yeah.
was that, Greg? Do you remember?
His healing factor, I believe.
No, the movies actually.
Oh, the movies.
Yeah, I remember when they announced they were making a X Men movie. I was excited, to be honest with you.
I can't remember when the last time I watched the first movie when it first came out because it was early 2000s, wasn't it? It came out. Was it the early 2000s?
Yes, it was early 2000. I'm gonna look up the X Men movies right now. Actually,
Ah, shit.
the first X Men movies were they're pretty good actually. I'm not gonna take anything bad. Okay, so the first one came out in 2000, and the second one
Yeah.
03, and the last of the three trilogy over the original cast was 06. So I have a listen to pick here. I'm gonna only go on a little side niche. So they didn't follow the storyline completely, and I do understand why. Because when you are taking a comic book
Yeah.
from a paper and you're gonna put it on a big screen, you cannot follow everything to the T. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't follow it. You can't put it word to word and image by image,
I
can you?
don't have a problem with that. I thought
No,
X Men.
I enjoyed it.
I love the X Men one. X2, I was more hyped for it. Now,
Yeah.
X Men 3, also known as The Last Stand, it was
Mm.
garbage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a good movie at all.
Right.
Now, when they came out with X Men Origins of Wolverine, now we're talking about, what's it called it? I'm trying to find the name of it now. Wolverine. So Wolverine originally joined the X Men in 1975 X-Men issue 1. So there, he was one of the original characters, like Storm, Nightcrawler, Pop, Cyclops. Excuse me, I'm gonna say Pop because I don't know why. Wolverine helped rise the X-Men franchise. So, but before we go on, we gotta get this guy in here. Let's get the president in here, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise for our president.
Do I have to? Ow!
Mr. President, how are you
actually
doing
hurt.
tonight?
As I am every Saturday night exhausted.
Pull your
I had to have some
skeleton
comfort
together.
food today. I had a Big Mac, McDonald's Big Mac for the first time in probably at least 9 months, maybe a year. So I was like, I had some stuff I had to do earlier. I didn't get a meal, and all I had was like a post-workout protein shake. And I was like, I need some really bad food that's highly nutrient dense. So I got a Big Mac.
And
I
you
got a
picked the
filet
Big
of fish
Mac over
sandwich.
everything else.
Yeah, absolutely. I go back to the comforts, bro. So yeah, so I had a nice, unhealthy, but dense meal, and I felt a whole lot better. But I was like literally getting almost lightheaded. So yeah, I went a little bit off the unhealthy track today, but felt good though. I'll do it again. I will definitely do it again.
So,
And I'm actually, I got a rant here. I'm getting pretty sick and tired of these bougie foodies who grew up on McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. And now that you got like In-N-Out Burger and all these high-end burger joints charging you $10 for a hamburger, and you guys are so bougie, like, oh, I can't eat McDonald's anymore because, I mean, you know,
I haven't had McDonald's in years.
I'm just saying, but it's like all these sedity people out here over a hamburger.
all right, I gotta back you up for once, and Paul.
It's okay.
I'm backing you up. Yeah, you guys know. I know we have some new people in the chats today, so welcome to our channel. So if you guys don't know, my day job is a chef. So let me give you guys a little secret about these In-N-Out burgers and Five Guys and all stuff. All it is just crushed ground beef. That's all you're eating. Nothing special. No special seasoning, no special sauce, anything. You're paying $15 to $20 for a burger, a double burger or whatever toppings, and you're spending all this money. Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, go to a diner even. I mean, you get go to any kind of diner in New Jersey and you'll get a decent sized burger with all the fixings and whatnot for a decent price. But I mean, these guys are paying all this crazy money to go to. I forget what's the popular one now. I forget the name of it. But it's like no, Five Guys is kind of old. This is one of the newer ones that's out.
White Castle?
No. Well, shout out to White Castle. You know, look, I would.
Drunk.
Now we have a tradition, Craig, in my household. Every New Year's Day, and like really early morning. It's not even. It's either after midnight because we used to go to a lot of parties, New Year's parties, so we don't get back till 2 or 3 in the morning, and we're starving. And so the only place that would be open was White Castle here because they were like 24 hours. So we just go get White Castle every year after on essentially technically New Year's Day. So now we converted it. Well, like it's the lunch hour New Year's Day. But yeah, I'll get a whole suitcase full of White Castle. And that's been a bit of tradition for like over 10 years now that we eat White Castle on New Year's Day. So
You're a bastard. You're making me feel so hungry right now.
so I'm just saying. But all these people getting so sedity
Are you talking
with
about
their organic grass-fed beef. You know, all the marketing and whatnot that they're saying for these burgers. I mean, look, if you're going to go to play, if they got like bison or something, I'm like, okay. Grass-fed bison or something, that might be a different, category. And I don't know any places, at least not around here, that serve bison as a staple meat. But I'm sorry. So I'm going way off topic here.
No, it's fine. The only question I have for you: were you talking about Shake Shack any chance?
Shake Shack, yeah.
That's the newest thing. Is I haven't tried their burgers.
I mean, they're good. I'm saying they're good, but I mean, I'm not going to drive 20 minutes to get to one. And if I got McDonald's here, give me a double quarter pounder with cheese. I'll put that up against a Shake Shack any day. and I'll feel just as good at the end of the day. So I'm not stressed over it. But every time I'm at lunch at work, like, yeah, I'm going to McDonald's. They're like, McDonald's? I'm like, get over it.
The only issue I have with McDonald's, the price is a little too pricey, in my opinion, for what you get or the food you get. I think with Burger King, you get a better value for the buck you get. That's the only thing I have pushback. The value.
Right.
But my clients tell me all the time, I make a better burger than any of these places, and I only charge about $6.29 for a burger, fries, and all the toppings you can get. That's not a bad deal for a burger. And
No, not at all. Or you can make it, like I said, you can make your own. Especially now with grilling season, got the Memorial Day weekend coming up. Get the grill out and get your beef, and make your patties.
Oh, I agree.
And grill your own burger. I mean, you can do that, but I just
only thing I would say with my burgers at work, we do a 8-ounce burger. So for a double,
That's
you pay
good.
only $6.99 for fries and everything. It's not a bad price again. Like I
yeah,
said.
because most of the places they're offering like a quarter-pound burger, so it's like you're basically getting a double burger for that price. That's a good
I
price.
get it for free. I'm just kidding.
That's the problem too. All right, Paul. We are talking about Wolverine. So I gotta step off for a second because I gotta take care of mom really fast. If you mind taking over for a minute for me. But give me your Opus intro so I get right back. Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting 'cause I went back and watched last week's show when Wally's on, and hopefully Wally will, if he's not already listening, he'll make an appearance here tonight. I made a statement earlier in the show that certainly in the golden era of certainly DC, I thought a lot of their characters were mostly sanitized in terms of no, deleting people and things like that. So again, you had this thing, Batman doesn't delete, and Superman obviously, kind of like all these heroes had this code of ethics, and that made it possible for a lot of those shows to be on TV. So I mean, I grew up watching the Super Friends, and you had Batman and Robin on TV. All these shows in the '60s that mostly featured, even the live action shows. A lot of them featured a lot of DC characters. The Incredible Hulk being one of them. But again, even the Incredible Hulk didn't delete anybody. That live action show back in the late '70s and '80s. So I made a comment that, they had this kind of sanitized. You didn't have the idea of the anti-hero, at least when I started reading comics, which was in the 70s. You didn't have these type of characters the way Wolverine was. So I think Wolverine, I thought in a lot of ways, broke the mold, at least from my experience. And that here you have a reluctant hero, doesn't want to be a hero, would rather be left alone, wants to drink his beer, and just leave me alone. Not a team player, doesn't play well with others most of the time, but he's certainly an ace in a hole. If you need a brick, relating to an old Champions term, if you need a brick, if you need a fighter, if you need someone who doesn't care about anything or anyone to get in there, who's not going to hold back in a fight, and if you also like underdogs, because in the comics, if you go to any kind of Marvel universe or something like that, he's a little guy. He's only 5'3" in the comics. Now, obviously, in the live action stuff, you got the actor that plays him in the Hugh Jackman is like well over 6 feet tall. He's a big guy in the live action stuff, but in the comics and even in a lot of the cartoon series from back in the day, he's a small guy. So it's almost like you kind of root for him as well. It's almost like he's the underdog. So he's a guy. He's a reluctant hero. He's got a gruff attitude. He'd rather be left alone most of the time, and he's generally small.
Well,
but he's like a pit bull. He's that guy where in a fight he will go to the death. And so yeah, you are drawn to him in part because he's not the kind of the quote goody two shoes. I mean, relating this back to the wrestling, like the Attitude Era, where and again you had these good guys and bad guys. Sometimes you don't know what side of the fence he's on. But but he still has a code. He still has, principles. He's loyal, even though he might be cursing you out. But again, if you're still on his team, he'll go to the death for you. But he's not very likable. And so therefore, he's a character that I think a lot of people relate to. He's also a loner, right? I mean, so I think for a lot of us, if you've been a nerd or something like that, you may relate to him a bit because of his loner status. He's not cool with a lot of people. And most people, if you know him well, just kind of stay out of his way. Yep. You're not going to have a conversation with him. So that's kind of, I think he brought something that was certainly new and interesting to certainly the Marvel side that was different than anything that I can recall, certainly compared to the DC side. And again, if Wally, I think he made the statement that, he may not have necessarily agreed with my statement, but again, if he has a use case or a character that would, certainly counteract that, or, what would the equivalent of a Wolverine type of character be in the DC universe? I don't know. But it was very, it's very, apparent that, he offers something that was very different. And in a lot of ways, Deadpool is kind of almost the same way. It's just that his character, his personality is totally different. But essentially, they have a lot of the same abilities. The healing factor, the weapons use, and certain things, but they're so opposite to one another. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a staple, and you can understand why people, especially in our cynical world today, why people like him, because it's almost like the way he was, I think a lot of us have become. It's kind of, a lot of us would rather Superman is like our greater angels, almost like a messianic type of figure that I guess we want to raise our children to be like. But most of us, we really kind of like Wolverine, because if we could, we would rather be Wolverine and just be like, just get out of my face. I remember that scene from what was the X-Men Origins, which is actually my favorite X-Men movie, by the way, the X-Men Origins. And when Professor X and Magneto try to recruit, they're recruiting all these mutants, and they kind of go into the restaurant and they say, "Hi, I'm Charles Xavier," and I'm he's like, F off, basically. I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people. That's kind of like the attitude, especially if you live in New Jersey, New York area, whatever. I think that's how most people. I think most people act is like that. It's kind of like, leave me alone.
Cigar. I'll fuck off over there.
You muted, Peter.
I'm sorry?
No, Peter's not muted. I hear him.
I'm muted?
No, you're not, Peter. I hear you.
Okay. So he was smoking a cigar, and
he's still muted.
Like, I'm not. It is yours, dude. You're on your side.
I know. Craig, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Oh, so it must be me. All right, so I'll come back in.
Adjust your settings, bro.
As before I get into that, let me get this guy in here. So, obviously, from far, far away, we welcome Anton.
Jesus.
Anton, what's up, my man?
Holy shit, I'm blinded.
Shut up, Craig.
What I told you about sandpaper in your head?
Yeah, shut up, Craig.
All right, Paul, can you hear us now?
What's up, Peter? What's up, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear. Did you guys hear, Craig? Did you hear everything I was saying, or did I get?
I heard everything you said.
No, we heard it fine. For some reason, you can hear me, the host, for some reason.
Okay.
What I was going to say before I let Anton jump in was when they went to approach Wolverine, Professor and
Magneto.
He was smoking a cigar and he had a cowboy hat. And as he's smoking, he goes like, "Excuse you," and he goes, "We like to get fuck off." I'm like, "God damn." You didn't even get put him 2
No, I said to go. No, he said go F yourselves.
Go F yourselves, and then put the cigar back in.
Yeah, pretty much what I said. Go fuck yourselves. I'm like, fuck off, same shit.
Oh man, what's with the Stetson? You Kevin Costner in Yellowstone or something?
I know he's
What,
yeah.
you guys don't like my new hat?
No,
No, it's just a different
no.
you're a
I'll let
cowboy.
back out of the hat. Paul knows, Anton knows, and Greg knows. So I'm dating a woman.
Uh-huh.
She got me.
Woo!
She's going to. Oh man, I can't believe I'm gonna say this
Wait,
publicly.
wait.
Woo!
I gotta take a brief. I gotta take a deep breath here. All right. So the guys who you guys been following me, you know I'm into metal. I'm a hardcore metal fan, meaning Five Finger, Metallica, Slipknot, all this stuff.
Oh
I
hell
like
yeah.
rap. I like hip hop. I like all genre. The two genres I didn't like for the longest time was jazz. Ugh.
What?
Yes, jazz.
Bruh. John Coltrane, Miles Davis,
I'm gonna puke. Please.
Sarah Vaughan.
You want me to puke on camera? Please don't.
Peyton
Second
Paris.
genre I didn't like was country. Till
Oh, come on,
recently.
country's awesome.
Okay, I can see.
Country-
But see, but that I don't even know if that's fair though, because country music has changed so dramatically over
Correct.
the years. That's added a lot of rock, a lot of rap, a lot of more, mainstream. We're not talking Conway Twitty
Okay.
or Anton. Remember growing up, we used to watch Hee Haw.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not your dad's country music anymore.
All Petticoat Junction.
So I'm gonna get to that point, and let me get to that.
Okay,
You
all
were
right,
in my conversation
go.
today, Paul. Believe it or not, you're my topic of my conversation between me and my woman. So as we were talking,
Woman.
God, Jesus Christ, I'm never gonna be
His woman. He said, me and my woman.
Oh man.
Shut the fuck up.
as I was saying. All right. So I was just doing my thing, whatever, and we, I said, let me try this because she's into the concert stuff. I like concerts too. So it goes, you know what? I put in top country music on Google Music. Why did I do that? I'm hooked now. So she goes to me. She gave me a hat to try on because here, try this hat. It might fit you. And go, okay. I put it on. I go. I always want a cowboy hat, but I never want to spend on my. The suckers are expensive, like 100 to 200 and 300 range.
They are.
And she goes, it kind of looks good on you, babe. She goes, I'm like, oh man, now the butt big me. I'll be honest, the butt big me. So we dropped the hat to get detailed because I don't know how to detail cowboy hats. I never had one before.
They got to steam it basically, and the best way to keep it and make sure it still has that bend is to actually keep it upside down.
Correct. That's why I put mine upside down. So you actually clean it with a brush first, detail it, but it has special solutions. I looked up online and videos. There's so many different ways. Let me get it professionally done because the hat was given to me by her son as a gift. Okay, no big deal. So, and we were there talking, and they had a place called Tiki Town. It was called a shop, a local cowboy hat, not Booth Bonds or anything like that. And they were running a big sale today, and I saw that hat. She goes, "You should get another one." She goes, "You work hard for your money." And I put it on my hat. I'm like, I'm not gonna hear the end of this from these guys, but you know what? It'd be a great prop for the show. I thought, let's take one for the team.
You dirty git.
I actually kind of like it.
I'm hearing this music, Anton. Like the music like from Zorro.
Yes.
You're an asshole.
So it's like he puts the hat on, and I hear that violin thing. Ding, 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 ding. It's like he's ready to take off. The only thing we're missing is a horse.
Exactly. All you need is a horse and a rapier.
Yeah.
Come on,
definitely.
you guys live near the countryside. Come on, you must go see horses.
Oh yeah, there's horses near me. But I'm saying, but we don't have cowboys though. But I'm just saying.
Peter riding a horse with that hat on.
Yeah, I could.
Actually, that is part of one of our things we're going to do. Maybe not this summer, next summer we're talking about. Maryland has a lot of wild horses still, and I like to see that. It's something I do. Like my dad raised, he was a big cowboy fan growing up, so I got into the genre really well. and that's gonna be a coming show. I want to do a cowboy movie show coming up later on. But anyway,
boy.
so she's into the country scene, like. You know how well, Paul, Anton, both of you guys, and Greg, when your woman is into something, you try to get involved with her hobby still.
See that word?
Ironically,
So that's pretty easy for my missus.
Ironically, I didn't first start listening to country until I was in the Army. A lot of the guys that I was with were from the South and some parts of the Southwest and everything else. So that's how I really got into it. So, like, I've heard it before, like, of course, like partnering Kenny Rogers, the Good Old Boys, Johnny Cash, and everything else. But then now you have like Shania Twain, you got Darius McCraney, who used to be Darius McCraney, who used to be the lead singer of Hootie and Blowfish. He's doing country as well. And ironically, I remember.
You mean Rucker, right?
Say again? Yeah, Darius Rucker. Thank you. God, I don't know why I said McCraney for.
I was about to say, who's
You know what? Because I heard about what happened to Rob Bass. Rest in peace to Rob Bass.
Yeah, shout out to
him. So that's what was in my head. But Darius Rucker is doing country music, and I remember when Tracy Chapman did Fast Cars, there was one artist that actually did a remake of it, and he actually played it at the Grammys. And because I think that's on One Best Country, Tracy Chapman got credit because she wrote the song. So country music has been around for a minute, and what people don't realize, and I remember seeing this in an episode of Power, and I didn't realize this. Cedric Entertainer said this, that country music actually was originally started by
black people.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Yep.
Actually, if you go further back, Paul, over way back, country comes from Mexico. Actually, so the word country boy or country come from their Spanish. I don't know what the word is off my head right now. We were actually looking it up. So fast forward to our conversation today with me and my woman. If you say one more, Paul, I swear to God, I'm going to choke slam you through this goddamn mic.
You keep saying it. You keep saying it every chance we get here. But I'm just saying, you say it with this zest and enthusiasm.
So I was trying to say. So we were going through different music videos because the one video song I liked back in the early 2000s.
You think? I give it 3 years.
Nah, I give it some time. I'm not gonna rush them to the altar yet. I'm not gonna have any shotgun weddings or anything. But
so, Greg, shut the fuck up over there. I don't need you. So the first song I got into back in the early 2000s, way before I met her, is something to be proud of. I really like the song. It's a very meaningful song. I do enjoy it. So we were talking about music, and Paul's name came up because we just had this conversation last week. Was it, Paul? I'm saying about the music. The country music thing I was telling you about?
Yeah.
And she agrees. Country music is not the same what it was 10, 15 years ago. It has a little rock. It has a little hip hop. Luke Brown, very popular artist. He's a good hip hop kind of person. Like, he has like Country Girl, Shake It For Me, and other ones out there like Margarita. There's other ones. So
Cutting My Jug.
There are a bunch of good artists out there. And there are a lot of good songs. And like 2 songs I recommend anybody who's having a bad day, if you listen to, Something to Be Proud Of and The Call. Those 2 songs will hit you right in the heart. I'm like, damn.
Really?
These lyrics,
text me that.
Yeah, I will send you both of the songs. Both of the lyrics, if you sit there and listen to them, I'm like, damn, I felt that, man. But unfortunately, The Call came into my life actually in the perfect time because I was going through a dark part of my life. Okay. And when that song came in my life, man, I can relate. And the basic gist of the song, I'm not trying to spoil it for you, anybody, is he was about to take his own life. And one phone call changed his life.
Wow, that's serious.
And that's where I'm like, wow, this is meaningful. And one thing I like, not all country music, a lot of them do have a story behind it. I do respect that.
Yeah, storytelling is a big thing, definitely.
Me and CQ were just having this conversation today about this because he's going to Nashville. Hey guys, anybody who is a fan of pop culture, give us some support at Nashville. If you guys are going down there, he's doing for the Veterans Affair and all that stuff. So definitely some support. Yeah. So I guess who's jealous of that? Not me.
I heard about that, and let's just say there was one guy that I follow on Instagram. He put something out there, and let's just say he made it known, like, do not the one demographic you don't want to mess with are veterans, and it just seems ironic that the video and the stuff that we're all hearing about came out on Memorial Day weekend. What are the odds?
That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and he basically said he's gonna make. He said he was that angry. He basically was like, he's gonna make him and a lot of them can make January 6th look like a food fight. That's how angry he is.
You know what? Let's talk about that off camera.
We'll talk about
that. I don't want to get that there.
Okay.
Anton, you're up. Wolverine. Cause out, legend, myth, whatever. Give me your gist of it. Give me your background on it, bro.
Wow. Wolverine, aka Weapon X, aka Logan. The man that cannot meet the Grim Reaper. I mean,
he can.
Yeah, I'd probably find a way to flip him off. But the person who bonded, the person that was able to successfully bond with Adamantium. I mean, we all read the comics, seen the cartoons, you know, a lot of stuff associated with it. It's what can you say? What can't you say about him?
What can you not say?
I know. The one thing we all wish we had, unlimited healing power. You know, that's like the one thing I think we all wish we had, unlimited healing power.
But that was the only thing that actually killed him in the end, was the adamantium. It was poisoning him, and it was actually slowing down his healing rate.
Okay. But
if you actually watch the movie where they actually create a daughter for him, and she actually has, like, instead of 3 claws coming out of her hand, she's only got 2, and then 1 coming out of each foot.
Oh, okay.
I do remember the foot part. I do remember 2 claws.
Yeah, it was the feet too. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
There was 2 coming out the hand, and there was 2 coming out the feet, 1 out of each foot.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It's called Wolverine. No, sorry, it's called Logan.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I didn't get that's all of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it killed him in the end. So basically, they made a clone of him, which actually.
Yeah, weapon 12. I think it was 24.
Something like that.
Weapon 24.
Physically picked him up and just shoved him straight on a branch. Went straight through his chest.
You know, yeah, and that was the thing. It's almost like he wanted to, because think about it. You have unlimited healing power, and then when you see the movie, and then you remember seeing, what movie was it? I think it was X-Men Wolverine. You see him and Sabretooth. I mean, growing up in Canada,
X-Men
fighting in World War I,
X-Men 2,
and then fighting in World War II,
which is to me, that is the greatest superhero opening of all time. That whole sequence, the greatest ever.
Seeing both Hugh Jackman and Leah Schreiber in character through all these situations in time, like it was nothing. And then, of course, getting to the part when they're in front of the firing squad in Vietnam, and it was like, yo, these guys just can't die. And I think that movie helped add to the legend of Wolverine. Whether he was solo, whether he was with X-Men, whether he was with Alpha Flight, and people.
It was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Thank 2009. You. Thank you.
Yeah, we said that, Greg. We said that's what I saw it was. Wolverine was one. X-Men Origins Wolverine was the best origin movie any character have, hands down. I don't care who the fuck.
Because you always knew about, and especially when you was on Alpha Flight, people forget that. And those who don't know who Alpha Flight is, that's the Canadian equivalent to the X-Men,
right?
Led by Vindicator. Giving him that story to me was spot on, because we always heard about him being this person, this stranger who has no memory, and then he has his adamantium in him, and he's trying to figure out who he is, and he's going through this journey. Professor X is trying to help him try to put pieces together as well, and he's going through this journey, and it's like, that's got to be a really tough life. You have this healing power, you got this unbreakable metal in your system, and yet you don't know who you are. But then when you see Origins, and you see how they put it together, it was like, this is heavy. This is nice. I like what they did. I really did. Having a family, him and Sabretooth being brothers, everything they've gone through together, what caused them to go their separate ways. And then you get to see the origins of some other characters too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was definitely by far the best one. I have to agree, Peter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the movie itself, I mean, I think it had some, it's the most frustrating movie because I think they got a lot of things off. Like Deadpool, like that was bad.
That was the worst part of the movie. That's what
but they made up for it. But
they did. It was like, look, I'll take as flawed as a movie as it is. The pluses are so much better, even though they do also go off of canon. Because Sabretooth and Wolverine, even though they're bitter enemies in the comics, they're not related by blood. So that's definitely a departure from the comics or from, but it worked. I think the characters worked. I think the chemistry between them worked, especially when you compare like that Sabretooth to the Sabretooth that was in the X-Men franchise, the one he just growled all the time, I thought that was a much better dynamic. And just how they fleshed him out, I thought he was much better. Liev Schreiber's Sabretooth versus the one from the that also made a reappearance in Wolverine and Deadpool. They brought that character back, but the Liev Schreiber, that was to me the steal of the movie, like the way they did him.
Right.
Oh, hands down. Like, listen, the Wolverine has transformed. I do like the idea that he used the same actor. Every time he says, "Oh, I'm done with Wolverine. I'm moving on," he comes back every single time. Like that paycheck gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And I will give him credit on one thing. If you watch the first X-Men movie to Deadpool and Wolverine, his physique has transformed so much. So it has to be hard on him. And Paul, you're our fitness guy here. You gotta admit that. Like his physique has gotten so better over the years.
Oh, he talked about it. The guy has to eat 5,000 calories a day, which if you think that's easy to do, it's not. And it's not only that he's eating 5,000 calories, it's what he's eating. Like I said, I had McDonald's and all that stuff today, and it worked out to about 1,300 calories. Because I put in an app. It was like 1,300 calories just that meal. But he's got to consume 5,000 calories eating white rice and chicken breasts.
Wow.
Lean meats.
That doesn't have a lean sources of foods. He's not like he's eating donuts and fast food.
True.
So to consume that kind of food in that time, it takes a toll on the body. And you're right, certainly over time, even in the one of the X-Men movies where he was still in the Weapon X program, he was really slimmed down. When they had to break into this facility where he was, and he had this thing on his helmet, he wore a helmet, and he was kind of like in a still very animalistic state.
Origins.
That was in Origins.
No, it wasn't Origins. No, this was one of the newer X-Men films with the new team. This is after X-Men Origins. This after First Class. It's one of the sequels to First Class, where they first encounter Wolverine. He's very much slimmed down in the movie. He doesn't have the size or he's not as jacked, no pun intended. Hugh Jackman isn't as jacked in that version.
Yeah, because he talked about how long it took him to get to that frame. That's why he said it takes a long time.
Yeah, and the training. I mean, look, I don't even train, that much, but getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning, putting all that training in, and then all that food you got to eat to where you're sick. Like, you don't want to eat, but you have to eat anyway.
Yeah. So, Paul, that movie you're talking about is X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah. Towards the, I know what scene you're talking about. I thought I was wrong. I do apologize. Me and Anton were both wrong. You were right. It was Dark Phoenix. And even in Deadpool, I know Eric hates Deadpool, but let's give credit when it's due. The reboot of Deadpool, the new version of it, it's a great movie.
It's better. My wife said Dark Phoenix was a disappointment. My wife did not like how she loves the second one, X2, and she just felt like Dark Phoenix was just like a disappointment.
So you're getting mixed up right now, Anton. So you have okay. So is X-Men, X-Men 2, and X-Men Last Stand with the Phoenix comes in later on.
That was definitely a disappointment.
2019 they came out the Dark Phoenix.
Mm.
Two different worlds right now.
My fault. Because when they did the Phoenix thing in the third one, that was a let. My wife even said it. It's a total letdown.
Absolutely, I'm not denying that. I said at the beginning of the show that was one of the worst X-Men movies in my opinion.
I like the fact they did First Class because at least they gave an origin story, not just for how people forget the relationship Charles and Eric always had. People forget that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a very close relationship they had.
Yeah, very strong relationship. And ironically, I found this out. Stan Lee, the reason he came up with X-Men, he used X-Men to tell a story during the civil rights movement. He basically said Charles Xavier was Martin Luther King Jr. and Eric Ledger, aka Magneto, is Malcolm X.
Malcolm X.
Both had this, they both wanted what was best for their people, but they both had different approaches towards it.
That sounds pretty right to me. I'm not going to push back one bit. I agree on
Yeah.
that.
And when he said that, when I read that, I was like, how many people realized it? How many people really put that together? Yes, exactly. A lot of people. A lot of people didn't know that. But when it came out, I bet you a lot of people were surprised, like, you got to be kidding me. Yes.
To you mention it now, I didn't connect the dots. I'll be honest with you guys.
I don't think a lot of people connected the dots. I'll be honest, I didn't connect the dots either. Until Stan Lee mentioned it in one of his last interviews before he passed away, I was sitting there like, yo, unbelievable. He took one of the most significant events in American history and he found a way to put it into a comic book.
And that's why Stan Lee is going down as a GOAT of comic books, the legend, the mastermind behind almost 90% of the comic books. I say all of them. I'm saying 90% because of Marvel, because we're into Marvel universe at the moment. So you cannot recreate half it. He created the X-Men. He created Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure he created almost every character Marvel has at some point. The early one.
The number of their characters.
Avengers. I know he created Captain America. All those characters, you cannot take the credit away from him. And it is a documentary coming out soon showing his last years, how bad he was treated.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart.
And there's been a lot of that with a lot of older actors and people, you know, when they're put into these nursing facilities or when they lose their faculties, people take advantage of them. It's really sad.
I've heard the stories about that. It's like, really? Like,
here's the thing, Anthony, I understand. Like, they were forcing him to sign autographs when he couldn't even stand up anymore. He was in that bad a shape. And I know the one person who only has the only sketch he ever did with Spider-Man. You know who that is?
Todd McFarlane.
You ready?
Yeah, who?
GQ.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I can imagine how much it's worth too.
He never valued it, but when he met him and like he was bugging, like, come on, draw me a sketch. And he goes, he just did something stupid. Or like he just did something, and it's the only sketch he said he read at the time. Obviously, I don't know if he did any more afterwards.
Wow.
So his autograph is worth more. And like I had opportunity to meet him. The only reason I didn't meet him was at Comic-Con. His line was so ridiculous. You have to be there all fucking day just for him.
I can imagine. I know some people who did have the privilege of meeting him at Comic-Con.
And it wasn't even about the money. It was about like, do I wait in line all day or do I see other people? So
that's true.
That's the thing you have. Like, you're going to be your first con this year. You're going to have to make the same choice, unfortunately. Paul had to make the same choice a couple times last year, right, Paul?
What's that?
Some lines were too big for you to even stand. Sometimes you just moved on.
Yeah. I you know, that's the thing too. I mean, when you're at Comic-Con, there's so many things going on, and you have to decide: do I want to go to a seminar? Do I want to go to an autograph signing or whatever? So you have to be a bit strategic, because you're not going to get it unless you go like the whole weekend, like from Thursday to Sunday or whatever. You're not going to get everything if you only go for one day. So
I know
choose
people who
wise.
have done that. My friend Alex has done that. He's gone his character as Blade one year. Another year he went as the Predator. He actually has a couple of motorcycle helmets designed to look like the Predator, both the faceplate and the actual face of Predator without the faceplate, with the locks and everything else.
We had somebody on here, Frank, the builder. He does all the cons overseas and everything. It's a lot of work. Like, I know our close friend CQ again. He goes to. It depends where the con is and everything. It depends on a lot of factors.
Right.
Like New York, he goes all 4 days usually. He gets there Thursday early and he starts working, and it's a lot of work. Even on us as the fan, it's still a lot of work, and people don't realize. And that's why I go to the autograph booths personally,
Right.
because it at least gives me more like a one-on-one with a person versus like they're doing a press conference or they're talking about their show they did years ago. I prefer doing that because like I at least can go out and shake his hand and get the picture. But they're sitting behind a table, a booth, and answering questions. You're not going to get that one-on-one with them. You're just going to and you can raise your hand and ask a question. Most likely, are you going to get? There's so many people raising their hands. You're not the only one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Keep that in mind. But back on the topic with with the last movie I was talking about, Wolverine with X-Men. I think they did a great movie. I loved it. I was shocked in a lot of ways. I know Eric's not a fan. I don't know what's wrong with him, but that's my personal opinion. I think he's
a merc with a mouth.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, again, there's no gray area with Deadpool. Yeah. You either hate him or you love him.
Come on.
There's no
It's
area.
more comedy than anything. Come on.
But again, that's it. But people despise it. They don't like the fourth wall. They don't know. They don't like anything about him. It's just
I think Deadpool's fucking hilarious.
He loves to push the envelope, and you gotta give credit to Ryan Reynolds because he's found a way. Because I guess he realized what happened when they did X-Men Origins and how they made him come out as Deadpool, and was like, "No, we gotta do this all over again."
But even still, even though the final product I had a lot of problems with, Ryan Reynolds as the guy, what's his name?
Williams. Wade
was perfect. The scene in the elevator, oh great. I'm stuck on an elevator with all these guys on a high protein diet. I mean, his one-liners were just killing. And I remember watching like the behind the scenes, and they were saying it was so hard to shoot because all those lines were ad-libbed.
Oh, that's what makes it even better.
And they couldn't keep that. They had to keep in character, but they couldn't because he kept cracking them up. So he was perfect. And that scene coming out of the elevator with the katana swords is again one of the greatest scenes. I mean, that was just on fire.
And the funny part is when they rebooted. I want to throw this little nugget in there. When they rebooted Deadpool originally, and he's on the stretcher about to get the operation to become Deadpool. It says, "Whatever you do, please don't put me in green spandex." He goes, "That wasn't part of the script." Threw that out there. They go, cut. I'm like, that is perfect. But we're keeping that shit.
Yeah, he ad-libbed everything. I mean, he was and also keep in mind now what came later. Did he play Green Lantern before?
Before.
So that's the thing too. I mean, the fact that the Green Lantern tanked. I mean, it wasn't very good.
It was an understatement.
And the fact that he was able to come back and still get a chance to find. I mean, that could have everybody could have wrote him off.
Yeah.
Based on his Green Lantern performance, and he was able to get a second chance and nailed it.
What I do like about the last movie that people don't know yet about this, and it's been out in public. I'm surprised people don't know about this. Charlie Tampa, who played Gambit in the Wolverine movie, he's a huge fan of Gambit. He wanted to play Gambit. He wants to do.
Wait, Channing Tatum?
Yeah, he's a humongous Gambit fan.
Yeah.
So when they did a Gambit movie, it wasn't good. It was okay. It wasn't good. And when he read the script, like, I'm not doing this. If I'm not doing an origin story with it, I'm not doing it. I want to be to the character. So when they show, he did And when they came out with the Deadpool one, he got the chance to play his character he always wanted to, and he did it from. He had the accent and everything.
Yeah, I saw the clip. Like, oh wow!
I remember watching this in the theaters. I'm like, oh. I was very impressed. And then a few weeks later, rumors are popping out. Then a few weeks later, like, he's been greenlit. They're working on a script. They are going to make a new comic movie, and he's going to be the main character.
That's going to be interesting.
The origin way.
This is going to be interesting to see. And ironically, the one day I'll give Ryan Reynolds credit for, when he did play Deadpool in the other X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and this was a scene most people didn't realize that it happened. Everybody remembers Stryker still walking till his shoes came off. There was a part where he has no head, his body's somewhere else, and the skin they used to close his mouth came off. You see his eyes open up, you see his hand walk by and basically did.
Yeah. It was about post credit scene.
Oh. I was like, okay, what are they gonna do with this now? And when I first saw Deadpool, I'm saying like, yo, they really redid everything. Everything we remember when he played Deadpool, basically aka Weapon 11 in X-Men Origins, and it was just like, we're gonna do something else. And that's what they did.
Good night, Eric.
Have a good one, Eric. So I have to give them credit. But back to the story, Hugh Jackman, he's always, no matter what other movie he's done, this is going to be the one role he's always going to be remembered for. And he gave the character a face. The scruff look, the mutton chops, and everything. Hugh Jackman, he's always going to be Wolverine. Plain and simple.
Yeah, he call it typecasting, because I mean, he's done movies outside of it, but I don't think he's ever had like another hit. Because I think didn't he do Les Miserables or something like that? He
did Les Miserables. Yep.
Yes. And there was another one where he played like a circus performer or some sort of
The Greatest Showman. He played P.T. Barnum.
Yeah. But nothing is it's like Christopher Reeve, right?
But
anything he did outside of Superman didn't do very well.
There was one other movie I remember he did. I think it was a movie. He was him and I think I remember it was him and Christian Bale. They were rival magicians.
The Prestige.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So he's done.
I just looked up his best movies, and it's only two other movies that are not in X-Men. Is the Sheep, the Detective, something like that, and the Bad Education are the top two movies. Then is X-Men, Mission Link, X-Men again, Edge of the Eagles, X-Men again, the Prestige you were just talking about.
Right.
The Deadpool is actually on number 10 for him. Those are top 10 movies. So he doesn't have a lot of top 10 non-X-Men. I want to say maybe 4. That
really?
Yeah, and most of these I'm not familiar except one. So that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like he's definitely not, cast in that role, and he's stuck in it.
Yeah,
and that made his career.
Definitely. It's like, how can you, like, what else can you see him doing? Like, let's be honest, what else can you see him doing?
I don't see him allowed to do anything else right now.
Absolutely.
He's up there in age. He's not young either. Let's be honest.
No, yeah, I mean, but now they're doing with all the de-aging and stuff. Now he may have a couple more they can do.
Bro,
they're getting better with that tech. Yeah.
He's gonna be in October 58. He purchased in October 12th, 1968, around yours.
Yeah.
You guys what?
Yeah, it runs out eventually. But Anton, I don't know if you heard my opening where I talked about more so the appeal, like why Wolverine resonates. And again, I mentioned last week that I thought that the DC universe, like their characters, for the most part, especially in the golden era, like in the 70s and 80s when we were reading comics, like they had like a no delete policy. They were like very clean, like because again, you were marketing to kids. And for me, Wolverine was the first character that just went against the grain. The anti-hero, doesn't want to be one,
Right.
Mostly a loner, and like for a lot of people, I think relate to that. If you're like a nerd kind of geek person, you're not with the in crowd. You kind of go things your own way.
Yeah.
And I think he resonates so much with how people really are. Like Superman is almost like Jesus. And that's not an insult.
Right.
But Superman is based on messianic memes or tropes. That's the whole especially if you watch Superman Returns.
Yeah.
They took stuff right out of, I mean, the stabbing and all that. I mean, they took it right out of New Testament gospel stuff.
Yeah.
But so he's almost like Superman is like an ideal, what we should be or what we should strive to be. Whereas Wolverine is kind of like who we are. Like if we really get like, you know, the bad sides of us, you know, he has some good qualities. He's loyal. He, you know, now you may not like him.
True.
Like he's like that friend who will insult you or would just be like kind of hard to understand. But in the pinch, if you need him, like him and Cyclops never had the best relationship. But when stuff goes down, he's going to be there. Sometimes you have people in our lives, we call them dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
A dog.
Like you fight with them all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But God help you if anybody messes with their crew.
Oh
Or
yeah.
if you got to go into battle with somebody, again, you guys may fight all the time. They may insult you, pick on you, and all that kind of stuff. But nobody else. It's almost like your big brother, right?
Yes.
Your big brother could bully you, but nobody else can mess with you. If you mess with little bro,
Oh yeah, you gonna
it's so he's that loyal pit bull that people, you know, that he'll give his life for. As much as he argues with Cyclops, he'll give his life for Cyclops.
Exactly.
And I think just the humanity of him is such, it's more like who we are. So like Superman is who we should be.
Right.
And what, you know, he should be. Superman is inspirational. Wolverine is like raw, like what most people are, even when you don't want to admit it.
Exactly. And
And most people would like to say to people, especially in that scene, like I said, when Charles and Eric came in, it's like F off. I mean, especially we're from New Jersey, right? We now New York, New Jersey, tri-state. A lot of people are just like that. Just leave me alone.
man, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah. So I think that's why he's arguably, and I don't know, do they rate? I don't know if someone finds a rating. I don't know, like who the most popular superheroes are. Just period.
Oh,
He's got to be top 5, if not top 10.
You have to put him up there because he wasn't just that loyal friend to Cyclops and Jean Grey, but to all the younger ones, like to Rogue, to Iceman, to Jubilee, to Nightcrawler, all the younger ones. He was like that big brother to them.
Yeah, but he would abuse them. But he would still.
He told them, like, he is just like, nah, I'm the only one allowed to abuse him.
Yeah.
You mess with my Cubs, you gonna mess with me.
Yeah. And every crew, like you talk about a crew of friends, like you need the jokester. Someone's gonna keep you laughing, which is clearly he's not gonna do. He tells no joke. I don't even know if he has a sense of humor. You gotta have the logical one, the reasonable, the Vulcan, the Spock. You know, the person like, hey guys, let's think about this before we do it.
Yep.
But like I said, you gotta have your break in case of emergency.
Yes, in case of emergency, break glass, and then
he's that dude. It's like, okay,
it's like he's walking around and he's encased in a glass booth with a straight jacket on. The minute you break that glass,
and God forbid if you make him upset. That's how he's on regular.
Yeah.
Now we all know about Wolverine, his berserker rage, right? When he becomes uncontrollable by everybody.
So Wolverine is actually in 4th place in population.
Really?
Pretty high, I think.
Who are the first 3 then?
The first one is Spider-Man, believe it or not.
I can get that.
Batman's in 3rd, and then is Wolverine. And if
Where's Superman rank?
Superman is in second, then it's Batman.
Okay, yeah.
Then if,
So that's what I'm saying. So, but
yeah,
he's not like,
Who's first?
like I said,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah.
Really?
I'm not
And
surprised.
Spider-Man, I can kind of say because he's not, he's your friendly neighbor. He's a kid. He's he
He's a kid who could finally do something that he never thought was possible.
Is the person on this planet that I can speak to does not like Spider-Man. Everybody loves Spider-Man.
Yeah, how can you hate Spider-Man is the question.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
Wolverine, like I said, but like we were saying, Wolverine,
Wolverine is us.
loyal, no
Yeah.
flaws. You know how people say loyalty to a fault? No fault with him, no flaws with him.
So one thing I like about Wolverine, like you say, he's loyal. 1, 2, yes, it's got him go at it all the time. Cybercloud. Third, with him and Jean Green, he
Jean
was
Grey.
in love with her,
Yeah,
but he never got involved with their relationship. As much he tried to like blackmail them, he wanted blackmail. Like he could have found a way to break him up, but he never did that.
right.
Respected that. His loyalty to Professor X, and no matter what, the last movie, Logan, I believe it was, you saw him how long he took to protect Professor X.
Yeah,
And the third one, depends which version of Wolverine you're looking at. Are you talking about the comic book or the movies? In the movies, it shows like Jubilee has a crush on him. They're very close. I don't say crush. Let me rephrase that. More, they're like tight.
yeah,
In the comic book, it's Gambit who's close to her instead.
Yeah.
right.
So you got to take one over the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
Um,
Well, isn't there 3 versions? You got the comic book, you got the cartoon, then you got the movie.
The comic book and the cartoons are on point, page to page, scene to scene. They don't change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I've always liked about, I definitely like about Wolverine, especially I think in the third one, when Scott was dealing with losing Jean, it was Wolverine that says, you gotta let it go, bub. You gotta let it go. Like he's basically was trying to tell him, as much as he could have been a jerk to him. It was like
It's like when it matters.
he was always there.
He shows up when it matters.
Yeah. Put his hand on his shoulder and just told him, like, you're gonna be all right, and you gotta go, you gotta move forward, bro.
Yeah. And he's also what's also certainly in the movies. Well, certainly I guess in comics and the movies, the fact that he's liked by kids.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be, like I said, he'd rather be left alone, like in Logan, right? All these kids. And he doesn't want to be bothered per se, but he just fills in. It's almost like, remember the A-Team with B.A. Baracus?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He had a soft side, just like the Mr. T in general. He had this gruff exterior, but he always was about the kids.
Yeah.
And I think, Wolverine is like the same thing. It's like, even X-Men Origins. What happened? All those kids, the mutants that were locked up in the compound by Stryker.
Yeah.
He let all those kids out.
Yeah, that's right.
So they're always associating Wolverine with kids, even though he's like, I don't want to do this, but I can't let.
First one of the movies, with Rogue, he finds her in that trailer in his camper being dragged along.
That's right.
He leaves her on the side of the road, drives off. Later on, he pulls up and he just reverses back to her. Couldn't leave her out in the cold.
No,
in the
he
middle
didn't
of nowhere.
reverse. He put it in park, and he just
Yeah, he was like, but he had to think, but I can't let this happen to the kid. But he's not like hey Wolverine, you wanna pitch a ball around? let's throw a baseball. Let's throw a football around. Like you want to play with us? Like, he doesn't want to play with you. Exactly. He's that bear that you're not going to go up to him and be like, I don't even know if you. Well, I guess if you had to, I got a problem. I don't know if you go to him for dating advice. That'd be kind of interesting. I really like this girl, Wolverine or Logan. What should I do?
No,
I don't know if he's.
If you remember, they had a scene with that with what's her name, Rogue. And like it's this boy, Iceman, like, and he comes back in X-Men 2, goes, so, and he goes like, how do you guys and he was awkward about like I'm like, we're trying to figure that out still.
Yeah.
They were talking about kissing at the point only.
Right.
Everybody's mind went to the gutter and was like,
no,
who's going?
Go back for face. Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't. I think that's the protection. He can just freeze it.
Home run.
Yeah.
Protection. You just can't freeze it. That's
Yeah.
one last step.
Yeah.
Just freeze his penis and just call it that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But-
Might be chilly for her.
Being Iceman, he can make it bigger and colder.
Right. And then going to, I guess, another perspective as well is he also, again, I'm not as well versed in comics as you guys are, but from my perspective, with the exception of Bruce Banner, if you're talking about heroes that have mental or psychological problems, he might have been one of the first that I can recall seeing. Because obviously Banner with the whole Hulk thing, whatnot, and then later on you talk about his relationship with his father, and you know, like a lot of that anger was already in him. The Gamma just kind of let it out.
Yeah.
Wolverine, the fact that he had all those memories. And I remember in Origins, again, he's in the bed with his lady, his woman, and and she's getting out of bed like because he's having these dreams, these nightmares,
Right.
of all the wars. Like I said, that's why that scene was so powerful because he remembers everything. And it's just an interesting because everyone talks about. In fact, even in the version when he's in Japan and he meets the samurai guy, like he wants that immortality. But even Logan, in certain ways, he's trying to tell him, "You don't want what I got.
Yeah.
You think that this is the greatest thing or whatever, but no, you don't want this because all those memories, even when his memory gets erased." There's still illusions and shadows of things, I mean, when we first find him in the first movie, he's kind of a wanderer in the I guess in the Canadian wilderness or whatever. But he's not he's like a man with nothing. And I'm sure those nightmares, those dreams, there's certain flashbacks to when he had the adamantium put on him. It's all this stuff that's just in his mind all the time.
Yeah.
So he's not at peace at all. And I don't think any other superheroes that you can think of around that time, definitely not in the DC universe, and certainly I'm trying to come up in the Marvel universe, where you had a character that is traumatized or that lives in this constant state. So really being part of the team or working with the kids, you can almost say that is like it gives him a purpose.
It gives him that that's his therapy.
Yeah, but if he doesn't have that, then he's just gonna. And sometimes he does go to this. He gets in the bars. He drinks all the time, but he can't get drunk.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he does, but it doesn't stay with him very long. He's got to consume a lot of alcohol, a lot of substances to get into that kind of inebriated state. But again, he's trying in a lot of ways. He's trying to forget. Just like any other alcoholic. Why are people a lot of times alcoholics is you trying to bury some stuff. There's some unresolved trauma. And you're trying to self-medicate.
You're trying to numb the pain.
Yeah.
And for Wolverine, you got to tap a keg just to dull the pain.
Yeah. So again, that's a departure from what a hero, an aspirational hero is supposed to be. He breaks all those norms. He drinks, he smokes, he's foul, he's all these things that, again, we don't want our kids to be, but if we're honest, we battle with a lot of that same stuff.
Same guy, that's the person you want.
Yeah.
If I'm in a situation, that's the type of person you want.
Right.
You need someone like
but
that.
It's almost to the point now, though, what I'm not appreciating. I think certainly, again, the fact that he broke that mold, and I think he holds a place in the comic universe because of it.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing now with these movies, they're making everybody got problems now, right? Everybody. Thor's got problems. What's the group? The Outcast group. They came out with a movie last year. Thunderbolts. It's like all these superheroes got some issues going on. To the point, I don't want to be them either. So I mean, it's kind of maybe called from my childhood where again, superheroes were the good guys. You help people, you save people. They were you were taught. Remember those Super Friends episodes? Every episode ended with, or G.I. Joe, they had that bit at the end, that life lesson at the end.
Yeah.
Well, Susie, you guys should learn how to resolve your differences and stuff, and then up and away, and Superman go off. It's like they always had to have that positive message at the end. I grew up on that, But now everything is like everybody's just ill. And I don't know if it's good to have that much dysfunction.
Yeah.
Within a MCU universe or any other universe that you want to talk about, but it's like everybody has a problem.
Maybe it's good.
And it may make us more human. The last Superman movie, for example, was exactly that. It's like Superman wasn't super. And he had to say this thing, I'm just as human as everybody else. I get it wrong and all. But the Superman that I grew up on, I wanted to be him. But in the last Superman movie, he wanted to be us. And I'm like, no. Because I don't want to be us. I don't like,
One I've always been a fan of is the Henry Cavill one.
Yeah.
Because what's the one thing in that movie compared to all the other Superman movies, especially when he was young? What was the one thing that version showed? He didn't know how to handle his powers. He didn't know how to control them. He didn't know how to keep it in check. The part when he's in the classroom and his x-ray vision, he's seeing everything.
Yeah.
He's freaking out. He's hearing everything too because of his hearing. He's going crazy like, what the hell's wrong with me? And then I remember when he ran to the coat room and his mother came out and she says, what do you do? Make everything small.
Yeah.
Hear my voice. And he learned to hone that. And that's like a very human element. You wouldn't think someone, the Man of Steel, someone who's that fast, who's that strong, who's nearly indestructible, didn't know how to manage his powers as a kid. And not only he didn't know how to manage his powers as a kid, he was the only Kryptonian on the planet.
But it didn't. But I guess the difference is in his adulthood. Again, he was given direction. Once he had the meeting with Jor-El,
right,
and he kind of told him why you were sent and what you're here for. That answered a lot of questions. Whereas Wolverine is still seeking answers. He doesn't know. It's like a constant thing. So again, the X-Men kind of gave him a purpose, but there's still things that he's trying to that not even Professor X. So you would think if anybody can, help him out, it'd be Professor X. But even him, there's a limitation to what he's able to do. So I would still say there's a difference between Wolverine and Superman, or even again what they're doing with these characters now. Everybody has unresolved trauma of some kind.
Absolutely.
Whereas Wolverine was like the poster child for that, and that's what made him unique in that he had those attributes. But we could still relate to it. Mm-hmm. But I don't want every character to have
some form of
trauma. I mean, I want to be happy sometimes. Because even Logan, the last movie, it was just depressing. Like the tone of the movie, there was no laughter in it.
No.
There was no joy in it. The black family that was in there that got deleted. I mean, it was just a sour note the whole film. There was no humor. There was no levity. And so that, again, in that space, for him, yes. I don't want it for every film. Because if superheroes start to get depressing, then I think we lose something there. I think you should go, just like any movie that you see, or especially if you still go to the theater. Again, it's an escape. There's fun. There's cheering. There's excitement. There's all these things. But Logan was just one. Like you hit the low key on the piano, and it just stayed on that one key for the whole time.
And you're stepping on that one pedal that drags that.
It's just, oh my gosh, it's like that's why I can't. Even though I thought it was good, I can only watch it only a couple times.
It is tough.
Yeah,
it's real. I'll be honest, it was real tough, especially at the end when the kid's buried.
And and you understood why he wanted to die. Yeah, I'd want to die too. I mean, just get this over with. I mean,
and that's the one thing I like. The best way I look at Wolverine's character when he had that, that power where he could just heal quickly. It's like what I remember learning in my culture. He was dealing with a fate worse than death.
Yeah.
That's basically the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
It's a fate.
Well, it's like anything else. Imagine, like, just as human beings, right? They say the one thing. And Peter, I hope and pray that you certainly have a family and have a progeny to pass on. They say the one thing you never want to have or see is the death of your children.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine all the people, all the women that he's loved over his life. I think that the Japanese woman, because I know they did that. First, it started as a graphic novel, and like the Japanese woman, but I'm sure he's had his share of women that they've shown in the films that he's loved, but he's also lost. If he had kids, unless they were also blessed, because again, the thing with the mutant thing is, you may not get the same power as your parents did, or you might not get the mutant gene at all.
Exactly.
So I can't imagine living for 200 years or however old he was, certainly in the X-Men universe. Imagine you had kids, and imagine all of them dying, burying your kids.
And you haven't aged now.
You haven't aged at all. You don't look past 40.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean by a fate worse than death. That's basically what he was. He was basically. I mean, people want to say I won't say he was a zombie. The best way I can say is he was basically of the undead. He wasn't alive, but he wasn't dead. He felt no joy, yet he felt no pain. And he had to carry all of this trauma everywhere he went. Everything he did, he had to carry that trauma. And when you remember what happened when he was knocked out, and then what Stryker did to him, that's what made it even worse.
Yeah.
Because he was probably already carrying a whole lot of trauma before Stryker shot him. And then when Stryker shot him with those adamantium bullets, it must have done something to where it really rocked everything, and that's why he has difficulty trying to remember.
Well, this is I guess the thing that's still confusing to me from the movie. How did he know that? Stryker knew that when he did that was going to happen.
No, I think he was hoping that it would end his life. They were saying, because I remember when he said he had him, he says, this is the only thing that will put him down. Adamantium bullets. And he fired 2 shots to him in his head, and he still recovered. Because, yeah, he had the wounds, but then all of a sudden, what happened? You saw the bullets, just pop right out, and he healed up. Then he wakes up, and he doesn't remember, and he has difficulty trying to remember his long-term memory shot. I don't think Stryker knew that.
See, you might want to go back to that because I just looked it up. I think it was, and I forget the scene in the movie, but I think he knew that those bullets would take his memory out. I think I got to go back and look at it again. I'll reference that part of the movie and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But I think it was intentional that he knew. But I'm still asking why, because remember initially the plan was after the Weapon X, after the adamantium was applied,
The bonding, yeah.
he was gonna the bonding was successful. He said blank his memory now.
Yeah.
But the problem was Wolverine heard it, and that's when he came out again. Great scene. Like I said, I think the origin story of Wolverine,
When he came out that water tank,
the whole scene. Like I said, that movie had so many golden moments. I hated the Blob thing. I didn't like how that thing. Obviously, the Deadpool. I didn't like that per se. I loved Agent Zero for the time that he was there. But it was just there were just so many just taken by themselves, these great scenes, and him coming out the water, popping the sensors off and whatnot, and he's ripped and he's jacked and he just comes out of the birth
he said
of
in his mouth too.
yeah. But like I said, but that movie, it just had, like I said, I have to give the movie a 75 score. It got 3/4, 100s, right? It's almost like portions of a test. You get a certain section. Imagine you aced 3 out of 4 sections of the test.
That part right there.
One section you got all F's on. You didn't get any questions right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, the intro, the attack on the compound where they were getting adamantium. Again, the fight with Sabretooth in the barn. Sabretooth is scratching, up the. No, he say you don't come here often, do you? What gave it away? You're not from around. What gave it away? The interaction between those two, the bonding scene, it's just so many hits. I can't recall how many times I watched that movie. But certainly those specific scenes, I've watched them countless times.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of that. But the Wade thing, that was the only thing that was, what he ultimately became, that was a real disappointment.
Yeah.
That whole thing, how that came together. But
so
I gotta rate the movie a C or C plus because of that.
It's hard. You want to give it a B. It's kind of hard.
That's
because you saw what it did the way. I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
The blades come out of his arm. I'm like, what did they do?
Yeah.
No.
Like I said, there was hit and miss. Like I said, I didn't like Blob. I really didn't like Gambit either. Like I don't think he necessarily add a whole lot to the to this version of the film.
I don't know if you remember me saying earlier during the show when they did Wolverine and Deadpool, they did the original version of Gambit and how it's supposed
with
to.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
So
they made that correction. But like I said, just
what I'm going to say was when originally the character they were casting the character, he went to the audition, but when he read the script, like this is not the Gambit I grew up on, not the original from the comic books. Like I want nothing to do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
The way.
Yeah, he definitely divests himself from it. But again, like I said, hits and misses. But even the Sabretooth was so much better in that he wasn't, like I said, just this animal, even though he had that side of him that would come out, and you saw like when he would run on all fours.
Yeah.
But the thing that he made him so much more dangerous was like everybody was bait.
Yeah.
Like when they were on the airplane and Wade is sharpening his katana swords or whatever, it's like I can take any of you guys out, but I'm chill. He played Sabretooth so chill, and he figured everybody out. When he took out, who was the brother, John Waith, the brother from Black Eyed Peas with the cowboy hat on? Will.i.am, yeah. So he said, you know what your problem is? Because he would morph out and he would have these attacks. You know what your problem is? And he grabbed him by the spine.
Yes.
You're predictable. And then he just, I was like,
ooh.
So he just took, he was so good in that role. In fact, to me, that's the sad part that he didn't, and again, he survived the final battle at the power plant, 3 Mile Island. I think that was 3 Mile Island.
Yeah,
he survived, but he never made another appearance. That's the thing that also hurt. Also, he was so good
Mm-hmm.
You have to bring him back in some capacity in some other franchise, and he didn't.
And it's a disappointment. And I think this is when 20th Century Fox had the rights to it. Correct?
Right.
That's why. Because they weren't making this. Because they were making the decisions.
Yeah, but you got to keep that guy engaged. I mean, you got to bring him back in the fold. But Liev Schreiber, you talk about one and done.
Yeah,
that was a one and done. He nailed that much more than I ever thought that he could do it.
Yeah,
and I just wish they would have
better Sabretooth than the other actor.
Oh, by far. Because that guy, he was just like I say, he was like literally like an animal. Like he was just a savage, barely under control. But this one, and it's like anything. It's like almost in real life, right?
Nah.
They say real bad boys move in silence.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, this version of Saber, he didn't talk a whole lot.
No, he did.
He just observed. He's the type of guy. He's looking for your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And in the storyline, he took out every other member
of the team.
He took out Wade. Think about it. The Wade that was with the katana swords and all that kind of stuff. So again, he basically beat Wade.
Yeah.
Whereas most of these other characters can't beat Wade, but he found a way to beat him.
Yep.
And put him in that state. So he was arguably, you could make a case that Sabretooth was one of the baddest characters.
Yeah.
In terms of like villains.
Yeah.
He was like one of the baddest villains in the MCU.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, that's not part of the MCU, that X-Men franchise. But clearly, I mean, I know Magneto and these other guys who are up there, but he was a bad boy. I mean, I
that was that by far it really fit, and it was personified, and you saw a balance between the two.
You know who it was almost like? It was almost like the Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. He had that kind of quality to him.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, the scene with the guy who controlled the electricity, the light bulbs and stuff, like so like you could tell, like when he kind of came up behind him, he didn't say, but that's the same. If you remember the scene from Dark Knight Rises where Bane comes up, I guess to the executive guy.
Oh,
after he says, this plan sucks and all this stuff, and you didn't promise what you delivered and all that kind of stuff, he puts his hand behind his neck, and the guy just you saw the fear just come up in him. Mm-hmm. The same scene, the same energy was in Origins when he finds him at the theme park, at the carnival thing.
Yes.
And he kind of comes up and he says, I'm not afraid to die. And then he says, well, how do you know? I'm like, oh snap! Like, I'm going to myself, this guy is bad to the bone.
Yo, they did
bad to the bone. Yes. I mean, yeah.
I mean, the part I liked about it, he just sat there, the nails and everything else. Like, you look at his nail and they'll turn into claws. You're like,
yeah,
this guy really wants something. It's like he was like, I'm ready to go for a hunt. He's like, I'm looking for some prey. I'm ready for a hunt right now.
And the crazy thing about it too, if you saw, and I think Wolverine is kind of the same way, but it's kind of creepy how they do it. He basically cuts himself, because if you saw when the claws came out, he had these splits.
Yes.
Like the skin got broken every time he put his claws in or out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember there was a scene even in the first X-Men movie where I think Rogue asked him, like, does it hurt? Like, anytime he brings his retractable claws out, he said it had every time.
Yeah.
So, but his healing factor is such where it just doesn't stay, but it hurts.
Right.
And I'm thinking the same thing with Sabretooth, and you can see the skin splitting, like here, as those claws are coming out. It's like, ooh, that doesn't, because you know how it is when you get anything on the cuticle.
Oh, don't remind me.
Those things hurt. You get that little skin on the cuticle, and it gets pulled back, or you put your hand in a glove or something. You got that loose skin. How much it hurts?
Yeah.
and he's splitting his fingers open every time he takes those claws out like it's nothing.
And
But
he don't care. Like,
he don't care.
Just don't care. But ironically, in the comics, if you ever notice, it looks like they have like caps
Yeah,
right where the blades come out, where he can have the blades come out.
yeah,
Caps on his knuckles that literally control it.
yeah. It almost looked like it was coming out of the back of his hand, like it was coming out of here. It wasn't coming through the knuckles.
No.
But even in the comics, I don't recall Sabretooth's claws retracting though. I think that was
But
different.
I think they changed that for the comics to make it more special effects, more cooler.
It worked. I'm saying it worked. It just made him all the more creepier.
But if I remember with Wolverine, if you look at the hand, the blades came out in between where the knuckles are. Like
Yeah.
that's where the knuckles and the fingers are. That's where the blades.
I don't remember ever reading any comic book. Too bad Eric's not here. Can you say that the Wolverine he actually hurts him, but it makes sense and like he's ripping his skin off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he feels everything. That's the thing. It's not like he's indestructible, but he doesn't. It's not like he doesn't feel it. The scene, and again, the Wolverine, the A-bomb, the A-bomb scene, where he's like singed.
I think that was in Hiroshima. What was
No, that was Nagasaki.
Oh, okay.
That was Nagasaki. Yeah. And again, that scene is arguably one of the best A-bomb scenes I've ever seen. Just the way it starts out, right? You see the mushroom, you see the flash, you see the fireball, but it looks like very far away, right?
And then it comes and
It just keeps coming and coming, and he tells the Japanese guys like, "Dude, we got to get out of here. We got to run and get into and it just almost like overtakes. And even when they're in the hole,
yeah,
the explosion goes all and it singes him, and he still heals from it, but it hurts. Like he's like he's in agony. And that's the thing about it too. I mean, imagine, and he's got to remember. Like, we've all been injured or broke something, and we know what that pain felt like when it happened to us.
I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? But so imagine, every injury that he's ever had,
he remembers.
He remembers it. And how do you not get over having your whole body burnt to a crisp? Now, the thing is, in the comics, from what I understand, and the same thing with Deadpool. Again, and I don't necessarily like it, but they make it to a point now where, and Hulk the same thing. If a single cell still exists, he can regenerate from it.
Right.
Which I think that just takes it.
I believe it was that, yes, because they started that actually. It wasn't in the MCU or the DCU or any of that stuff. It actually started with Dragon Ball Z, with Cell Saga. He had regenerative saga, and only the reason it was called the Cell because he reproduced, and when he became the perfect cell because he was at his perfect being form, he can regenerate. And they realized during the battle, like, if we don't destroy every particle, he's going to regenerate every single time. It literally blew him up to a tiny burger. You need a microscope to see it. And all of a sudden, you see him like little bubbles coming up, like he regenerated. I'm like, holy shit!
That's like Terminator 2. What happens to the T-1000 with the liquid nitrogen?
Yeah, but this goes further back, even before that movie came out. So,
yeah, but I think that's something that's taken, because again, you're basically making these guys truly immortal, right? Like, nothing can take these guys. Deadpool, Wolverine, and Hulk. They cannot die. It's so I know you want to keep the franchise going, but I think here without some vulnerability, I think you take away something, or that the character doesn't have to work as hard because he knows he's going to come back. Like, it doesn't matter what happened to me. Wolverine is a highly trained fighter. But like, what difference does it make? I'm just going to come back anyway. I'm going to take you. I'm going to exhaust you because I'm just going to keep coming back.
No, in DC Universe, the closest character they have to that is Vandal Savage. That's the closest they have to an immortal is Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
Blade series was so perfect because he had vulnerabilities, he had weaknesses,
Right.
like the thirst still. So he was weak, and you
Right.
saw him when he got injured. He really got injured.
Right.
Not like, okay, I got injured, I can shake it off, I reheal and move on.
Right.
Like even with Captain America, he's human, but you see him getting beat up all the time, but he gets up and keeps fighting. Like
Right.
in real life, that's not gonna happen.
Nah.
Yeah, I think if you with a lot of these, if you take away the chance that they could die, I think you lose something. You know, which is why again a lot of these comics I don't find as interesting anymore. You have to have some sort of clever way, an impossible situation. How do you work itself out of it? But if you constantly let these guys just come back from the abyss, I mean, a single cell. I mean, that's like, you know, yeah. And that's why I think the fact that they allowed Logan to die in Logan, I think that was a very fitting end to the franchise. I think you have to let...
In the chat, too, he said Hugh Jackman should have ended it at Logan. Deadpool Wolverine was disgraceful.
Well, the thing about it is, it's told in a different universe, right?
I think
so. They had... Right, you're in a totally different time, or in fact, it was multiple timelines because they had the whole thing with the time. Whoever those guys are who guard the time, that agency,
the TVA. Yeah. You're talking about Loki. The TVA.
Yeah, right. So I mean, again, the reality that they're operating in isn't even the Logan timeline. So I can certainly understand because even the uniform that he's wearing is the classic comic. Uniform, the old X-Men uniform.
Yeah.
It's not the one that was worn in the X-Men franchise of any of the franchise movies. So again, the fact that they're hopping between these realities.
That's true.
So again, I don't mind the retelling of the story because again, they're going now. I think the multiverse in general, I think goes a little bit too far. Again, it's just another way for these franchises to continue to tell stories. Again, I don't mind a multi-universe angle, but again, it's in everything now.
It is.
It's almost done to obscene measures. The last animated Spider-Man movie with Miles Morales, they took it to that nth degree. I mean, there was so many different Spider-Men from all these, and
I remember
all these different.
I remember.
You know, it was too much.
They found a way to tie it also in the live action movies because if you saw Thunderbolts, and of course, you know, Marvel already had those endings. When they had that unidentified, they had something that came into their atmosphere. They're trying to figure it out what it was. They looked up, and guess who it was? It was Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that was right before Fantastic Four, their first steps came out too. And
right. And the thing is, you don't even know what. Obviously, there have been multiple Fantastic Four franchises.
Yeah.
But how do you even know that this Fantastic Four is what? Is this the 616 universe, basically?
Exactly.
Since that's supposed to be the one that we all exist in, that's supposed to be like the quote unquote the real one.
Yeah.
But everybody does, stuff. And really, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, didn't this start with the Green Lantern?
With what?
The multiverse idea, at least the concept
It
of
actually
it.
is further back into that more. There were other franchises that did it more before that.
I'm saying the the live action film, I thought was the first one to touch on because again, all of the lanterns. They all, like Hal Jordan, operated in the 616 universe.
Actually,
but all the other lanterns operated in...
Technically, with the Green Lanterns, they work in different sectors of the universe. There's 36...
But not sectors, but not multiverses.
They're not multiverses.
Okay.
Different areas within the universe. There's 3,600 sectors. Remember, the Guardians address Hal Jordan as Lantern 2814. That's the section that he oversees.
Gotcha.
That's why you can have multiple Green Lanterns. It's not just a person. It's a combination of an ideal an intergalactic force of justice and order.
Right. Speaking of that, did they launch that? Weren't they going to come out with another either Green Lantern series or movie with the brother?
It's on HBO Max with
Okay.
Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre.
Okay, yeah, I gotta check that out. I haven't watched yet, but I'll.
It's pretty decent. It's pretty decent.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take a look.
That Kyle Chandler plays Hal Jordan. Aaron Pierre plays John Stewart. So they're basically, so basically Hal's training John how to be a Green Lantern and everything else. And they have their very unique ways of, and of course, Hal has his own unique ways of training and everything else. So I don't know if they ever touched going to Oa, meeting the Guardians, being trained by Kilowog, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
This is a different aspect, a different angle.
Is Sinestro in this series? Is he the main antagonist?
Sinestro so far.
Okay.
But I'll honestly say in the Ryan Reynolds version, Mark Strong did a good play.
He did. He did. I agree with that.
That's the one thing I'll give him. They having Mark Strong play Sinestro. He pulled it off.
He did.
Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace. He was great.
Kilowog, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Jeffrey Rush who did the voice of Tomar Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So those parts right there, they did a very good part. They did very good on that. Everything else with the Guardians.
Yeah, exactly. There's piece that one almost like the X-Men Origins movie. It had pieces. It had clips. It had sections that this is good. Mm-hmm. The overall flow wasn't there. I thought X-Men, like I said, I think they got 3/4 of the movie right. But the parts they got wrong, it's like the whole thing was just off. But
honestly, I think with Marvel, with Disney acquiring 20th Century Fox and acquiring everything associated with it, that's why they came out with. That's what gave them the idea to do X-Men First Class. That was the idea of what made them decide to do Fantastic Four again.
Mm-hmm. For the third time.
Say again.
For the third time.
Third time, because I'll be honest
with you, this last version is not that bad, actually. I actually enjoyed it.
The one that just came out, First Steps, was very good. The last one,
no offense to anybody, when they made Steve Storm, whatever his name is, Johnny Storm, as a black dude, no offense to anybody, it didn't fit the character. It really didn't. It was
I can certainly understand that, but
the writing sucked. I'll be honest, the writing sucked.
Yeah, just overall it just wasn't very good. But it's interesting
they were trying to fix it, and the script was just like.
If you guys want to talk about Multiverse Universe, where it really started Multiverse Universe, it was actually a movie called The Last Action Hero. That's what the Multiverse Universe started. Then we talking about the Power Rangers also started it too, because they started doing different Rangers and all this stuff.
Yeah, I got you.
There's a lot of Flashpoints. A second example. There are a lot of example who there's no really point origin who really started the multiple universe. But I
was mostly talking like within the comic book space, not necessarily going outside of that.
Flash was DC was the first one who actually did it.
But it was interesting you mentioned First Steps. To me, I think and again, I didn't think it was great. I thought it was good and not great. But I think why it worked was the fact that they put it almost like in an altered time, like the fact that they made it back in the 60s. And the way it looked, it almost looked like, if you remember the Fantastic Four cartoon, it more modeled that. But it's like with a lot of things, the more realistic you try to make a franchise, the more dangerous it is, in that if you don't, it's hard to make it real. You know what I'm saying? It's like why the Nolan Batman series worked is that, again, he kind of changed some things to make Batman operate in a real world, and it worked. The original Batman '89, that was almost like an altered reality, but it sold. It really came off. But Nolan put Batman in a real world, but he didn't make him so outrageous that it didn't sell. So I think that if you're talking about and he was more like James Bond, right? He didn't do anything that was so crazy that you couldn't believe that it was there. But if you talk about super powered beings and you're trying to put them in the real world, you run the risk of it not selling. But I think the fact that they went back to that kind of 60s imagery, it kind of takes you out of reality and it becomes almost like a fantasy and you can appreciate it more.
I think what I liked about that version of the Fantastic Four, like you said, the 1960s theme, the 1960s tech, hearing stories and reading up about this is what they thought the future was going to look like. You've seen this 1960s era technology and it's supposed to be 2026 and you're sitting there like, what the hell were they thinking back then?
Yeah.
And that's the thing I've always liked about movies, especially movies that have taken place like 30, 40 years ago. And they had this idea of what the 21st century is supposed to be like, what was supposed to happen in the year 2000 and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where the hell is it? I'm waiting. I'm disappointed. Yeah. This is a letdown. But when you look back at it now, it's like, did we really think this was going to happen at this timeline? What were we thinking?
Yeah.
And one movie that comes about, man, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Although I would say still, even though we're way, way, way off from realizing what they thought the model would be like, 2001: A Space Odyssey. The special effects still hold up because because apparently we're on the mission, we're going to colonize the moon, right? That's the next phase of the Artemis and all that. We're going to start. It's going to start like that. So maybe not in the year 2001 from 1968.
Yeah.
We might be like 100 years from that. But if it is going to come together, that's how it's going to look. You know what I'm saying? Like they did a really good job. And that's why that film to this day still holds weight. It doesn't feel like a 60s because if you look at the special effects from a lot of those late 60s movies, and even Star Wars, the original Star Wars 77, it was more fantasy than anything, but the realism aspect that they brought to 2001 I think is why it still maintains its value. And still you look at it, it's like, okay, we're not there yet, but again, if we're going to build these deep space ships that are going to be going to other planets and whatnot, they're going to have to look like that. The missions are going to be long. Yeah, it is going to take you 6 months if you want to go to Jupiter. We're not, warp engines. I don't think that's even possible.
Well,
I'll let Neil deGrasse Tyson, the scientist, work that out. Can we bend warp space time and all that? But
I think eventually that will happen, but not anytime soon.
Yeah, it's like you got to get there's got to be some quantum physics or something where if that's going to come off. Honestly, but 2001 created a world where you think this is believable.
Honestly, I think what really hurt it was the end of the shuttle program, I feel. Because it felt like you were willing to push the envelope. You were willing to try things different. You were willing to do everything within the parameters of safety and exploration. And then after what happened to Columbia, they only had, I think, 3 more shuttle missions, I believe, 2, 3, maybe 4. And then that was it.
Yeah, it's expensive,
It is, but the thing I remember, I always appreciate about a lot of that stuff back in the 70s and 80s, it was pushing you to those boundaries. It was showing how creative and imaginative can you be. Can we really do it within a certain timeline? It almost goes back to, and I hate we don't touch. I hate the fact that there are times we have to touch politics and we don't like to. It goes back to that speech John F. Kennedy gave in his inauguration, reaching for the great beyond. Pushing to the skies and everything else. What laid the foundation to the space race? Listening to that speech and you're thinking like, damn. Even that far back, they were thinking about going to the moon. And then you look at other pop culture movies, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Tron, and everything else. Jeff Bridges' character was saying, Kevin Flynn, about this great what was it? He was trying to talk about. He was pushing not Destiny, the great. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank. Damn it, I'm trying to remember. You can blend both human and digital interaction all in one. Oh, thanks, Wally. But
All right, guys, we're getting towards the end, so let's get our final thoughts. And it's like, it's Scooch out here. Anytime you want to go first?
yeah, no problem. Wolverine is that character that was a combination of flawless and had many flaws. This was a character that lived for a very long time. He also seen the best in people. He's also witnessed the worst in people. This is a character that you always knew that no matter what, he was that person you could rely on and depend on. He was always going to be there. That's what makes his character different, but that's what makes his character so unique. He was always loyal to his teammates, even though they never got along. And at the same time, he was always that big brother to a lot of the younger characters and made sure that nobody hurt them. Dealing with the trauma of a lot of things and remembering it is not something I would wish on anyone. That's very hard to deal with, to not forget things. But at the same time, he got to see things that must have been cool and watch everything change from one aspect to another. Hugh Jackman is always going to be remembered as Logan, aka Wolverine. And I feel like he brought something to that character that I can't see anyone else doing. He's always going to be Wolverine. Plain and simple. And I think the best thing I've always liked about the character, no matter what he was put in, no matter what situation he was put in, he was always making sure that he was going to get the job done. And that's the one thing I've always liked about the character is, yeah, he has his flaws. Yeah, he's rough around the edges. But that's okay. That's just Wolverine being Wolverine. And that's all I got to say. You know, some words worth thinking about. Thank you.
Well, you guys already got me thinking I need to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine again for the umpteenth time. But yeah, I think it's one of the best. As flawed as it is, it gave so much in terms of how to formulate a character, how to go and tell a character story, even though they did go against the rules. Again, him and Sabretooth being brothers, but it worked. And I know a lot of people hate it when movies go off a canon, whether it be from books or from comic books. You have your purists, but the Logan or the Sabretooth and Wolverine sibling departure, as it worked to a great effect. And that's why I'm just sad that, again, they never brought Liev Schreiber back in the franchise to do other movies. I think he would have, certainly added a lot to the entire franchise if they would have kept him in. But at the end of the day, I mean, Logan, Wolverine is mostly us. It's what we would, if for some of us, if we broke the rules, we'd want to be that guy. But again, he's called. He's a reluctant hero, but as was said earlier, he's a protector. I mean, is what his ultimate calling is. But just like any calling, just because you're called doesn't mean you want it. I've talked to many people in ministry, for example, who don't want to be there, but they feel it's a call and they got to do it. And I think, in his case, he's called to be a protector. And as Anton was saying, especially with kids. And he does that role, or he did that role up until his death. He did that with everything that he had. He gave his life for people. And that's the kind of guy, like I said, as friends, again, you may not like them all the time, but that's the kind of dog you want in your circle. And like I said earlier, you break the glass when you need it. God help whoever it is that is antagonizing or whatever. You don't want that guy unleashed. But if anything, the one thing you would say to yourself is, I'm glad he's on our side, at least sometimes. So that's all I got on Wolverine.
All right, guys, let's take a quick schedule update. So, tomorrow, gray area. We're definitely gonna be on open mic, right, Paul?
Yep, call in show.
Call in show. And on Monday, we're definitely gonna be going over. Man, I forgot the name of the show. Help me out on Anton. What we're doing on Monday?
Oh yes, that's right. It's Monday's Memorial Day. So
yeah, we had the title. It can't come to my head right now. Shit. Let me here. Sorry, guys. I apologize.
Oh, I think I have an idea. Since it's Memorial Day.
We were originally going to do a Vince Russo. Are we still doing that?
That's right. We did say Vince Russo. We did.
Yeah. So, stand by. We're going to figure that out. And on Tuesday, AI versus human creation. And Paul, really fast, you want to go over yours?
Just Anger Management Part 3. Stay tuned for details on it. But yeah, it's a 5-part series. We just did Part 2 this past Thursday. Part 3 coming up. Again, more with the but I think we're going to start getting more to, again, how can changes that you need to make. What are some things you can start to implement to make changes in how you go about things? Once you've identified who you are, how can I be better?
Yeah. And next week, we'll be talking about, are you ready for this one, guys? Shredder versus the Batman. Ninja Knight versus Dark Knight. Let's see how it happens. So, guys, I am the Spartan, and this was the Spartan HQ Network. As always, he's my man, Anton. My man, Mr. Paul. As always, stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah, have a good one. Be safe.